So we're going to bring it down here to the feature table, and we got Alex Kimmer on the left versus Anthony DiLorenzi on the right.
So in this matchup, I would say I've never played this matchup, but it feels like Alex might have an advantage due to Charlotte's Bug having a lot of clunky removal, while something like Abrupt Decay might be able to remove, say, Glistener Elf.
Yeah.
Costing 2 mana is a big deal, so in a sense, Alex could counter it with Vines of Vastwood.
Sure.
And it doesn't even hit the most important card for, in fact, Inkmoth Nexus.
Yeah. I do think this is actually in Charlotte's favor. Baleful Strix is an excellent blocker for both Inkmoth Nexus and Glistener Elf.
Absolutely.
Requires a Berserk to get through. And then it just outgrind the opponent. If it ever landed Liliana, it's in great shape. Cards like Thoughtseize, Hymn to Turok, don't really have drawbacks against Infect, and they prevent a lot of the explosive draws. But it's certainly close either way, and I think it actually gets better for Charlotte's post board.
Sure. Yeah, I would imagine Charlotte's has a lot better tools post board. Mm-hmm. Let's see how this match goes.
Looks
Alex taking a mulligan here to 6.
Yeah. It seems like Anthony is on the play because I think he announced first, but Alex is reaching back for 6 more cards.
Infect is an interesting deck when it comes to mulligans. It can still kill you with only 4 cards.
Certainly.
But a lot of your games do end up going very long because you want to play around removal, and losing that card is a fairly huge deal in my opinion.
Looks like Alex is going to be content with his 6 and then scry to the bottom. Anthony's going to lead off with a Deathrite off of Tropical Island. Alex gives a thumb up to confirm that it does in fact resolve. And Forest into Noble Hierarch. I love this Judge promo one because it's an old border card, despite my personal dislike of foil cards in general. But hey, if a certain player is committed enough to foiling out his whole deck, more power to them, you know?
Or if you're former great Jordan Isaka, you whiteboarder your entire Legacy deck.
Don't get me started.
Oh, it is a thing of beauty.
So it looks like Anthony's going to brainstorm, resolve, put 2 cards back. Hate to use this term, but make it a perfect brainstorm by cracking that fetch land.
I have no words.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that again.
Please don't.
And let's see if he reaches for anything else. I think right now he doesn't necessarily know his opponent is on effect, and Anthony is here for the first time at Card Kingdom, so he might put his opponent on Maverick. Here's a Tarmogoyf. It's going to join the fray as a 1/2 creature.
Not threatening right now, but
ship right back to Alex.
But definitely will become more threatening as the game goes on.
Now
and the gig, yeah.
7 library.
Anthony knows what's up now. Mm-hmm. That Inkmoth Nexus is probably going to do a lot of work here.
Yeah. Cannot get decayed, and Anthony doesn't have anything to deal with it.
Yeah, not a lot to interact with it. I see a Vines. I believe that's a Spell Pierce over there in Alex's hand. He has Sylvan Library active, and he's at 20 life.
Yeah, here's a Force of Will. It's gonna get. I think it's gonna meet a Spell Pierce.
If Anthony does in fact have Spell Pierce.
Or Alex.
Or Alex.
Oh, but he's gonna elect to go with another Hierarch, and this is an excellent clock. Anthony had to pitch the brainstorm to the Force of Will. He needs to find an answer quickly.
Yeah, now that Inkmoth is going to be hitting for 3 a turn.
Oh, the Baleful Strix, perfect draw.
Yeah. The Baleful Strix, exactly what Anthony needed right here.
Yeah.
Will buy Anthony a lot of time, and if it does in fact trade with Inkmoth Nexus, that will pump up that Tarmogoyf a lot.
Tarmogoyf's only a 3/4. As Anthony finishes resolving his fetchland activation, is there any merit to going for one of the Noble Hierarchs here? Probably not, right? You want to save it for a Blighted Agent? Blighted Agent being one of the few cards that Baleful Strix does not interact well with from the Infect side of things, as well as Berserk. I'm going to pull up one of the newer versions just so for the cleaner Oracle text. Most notably, it gets the creature huge and gives it trample. Has a downside of destroying at the end of combat, but when you're trying to carry your opponent in one shot, it's quite good.
So we see Spell Pierce actually drawn. I believe actually that's a Berserk from Anthony.
Oh, okay.
Or Alex. So this is very interesting.
He has just enough to.
He has a lot of mana. He has 4 mana right here, so he can activate
he
with
activate
3.
Vines. And
The problem with that is that means that Alex will have no mana up for Spell Pierce.
true, but I don't think the situation is getting better for him.
Right.
So I'm gonna activate the Ink Moth. Blocker's declared. It's gonna Berserk. Oh, just to trample over. Huh, that was a bit of a conservative line, but now he's out of Infectors, so if
I think he actually has 2 Berserks,
Oh, okay.
which that would make a lot more sense.
Yeah, certainly. It's going to be Dryad Arbor. Does Berserk that?
I have seen Infect X kill with normal damage.
Tom
Or-
Ross probably represents a significant chunk of those. Oh, that's
Okay,
Green Sun Zenith.
apparently we don't know anything. So that
That's a Green Sun Zenith. It's going to presumably fetch up a
Glistener Elf.
You know, I think I would have liked to just get the Glistener Elf instead off the Zenith and force the Baleful Strix to block. And-
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think there's value in saving that Berserk
Yeah.
for until you have a pump spell.
Yeah.
Maybe Alex here is worried that he won't have another chance to get that damage in.
Yeah.
But my argument against that is you're not going to kill him. So
Yeah.
if you can't kill him, then he's going to untap and still have whatever removal spell you're scared of.
Main phase, Abrupt Decay, targeting Glistener Elf is going to take care of that. Tarmogoyf still a 5/6 artifact, enchantment, creature,
And
land, and
No sorcery.
no, there's a artifact, creature.
Enchantment, land, instant.
Yeah, okay, 5/6. Rumbles in for 5 into the red zone. That's a 2-turn clock in conjunction with the Deathrite Shaman.
Also, one thing is, if he did not trade, if Alex did not make that trade with the Baleful Strix, that Tarmogoyf is only a 4/5 now, which means that it would give, in theory, it would give Alex one more turn.
Yeah, but he does have the Noble Hearts available to block. Why is the Noble Heart tapped? Did he just attack for 2? It looks like he did.
Yeah.
So it's gonna.
You got to eke
Deathrite's
out
gonna drain and
every
turn.
single advantage you got, man.
Yeah. The draw for the turn is a Wasteland. That is excellent. Between the Force of Will and the Wasteland in hand, he's completely covered. It's going to probably go ahead and play the Wasteland. Hold open both Force of Will and he's going to pass the turn. I like passing. I think Inkmoth's Next is one of your free ways to lose.
Yeah.
And Alex is going to scoop him up, and we're going to go to game 2.
So that actually did not look that great for Alex here.
No. He needs a very fast start
Yeah.
to...
Also, the Anthony having Wasteland hampers the Inkmoth plan greatly.
One card I want to point out in Alex's Sideboard, he's gotten me quite a few times with it when I've been on Miracles. Stonewood Invocation, what a blowout. Pump spell, could almost one-shot your guy, and gives it Shroud.
Oh,
wow,
my
split seconds.
favorite is Divert. Oh, baby.
Yeah. Divert, I think, is quite good in this matchup. It's very narrow. It's very situationally good, but when it is good, it is amazing.
So we're probably seeing cards like Divert, Crop Rotation, maybe Viridian Corruptor.
I like Viridian Corruptor because it's a zenithable way to put the guy on the board as well as get rid of...
Yeah, Inkmoth, Baleful Strix.
Yep.
Maybe Flusterstorm if you're afraid of certain removal spells, but I could see not boarding that in.
I would not board that in.
Submerge probably is coming in.
Do you like the Spellskite? It's very much a powerhouse in Modern, in fact, but Modern is a very different format from Legacy.
It could be fine, but what are we diverting? The only thing it really diverts is, say, Abrupt Decay.
Yeah, which I think might be...
And Disfigure.
enough.
But it doesn't divert, Wasteland. It
Yeah.
doesn't divert Stop, Hand Removal, Hand Disruption, or Counter Spells.
Yeah, and going to Anthony's side of things, you point out Disfigure. I think that is an excellent card to bring in.
And Anthony has a lot, I agree, Disfigure.
Disfigure is quite good. It does get blown out by Invigorate or other pump effects, but it's cheap, efficient way to answer on turn 1. It's got some Golgari Charms, which is also quite good.
Yep.
You probably want to main phase this on your turn to prevent pump spells from blowing you out.
Well, I feel like that's just always true.
Yeah.
Because one mistake players often make is they say, "Oh, I have lightning bolt. I'll just wait until he uses his pump spell."
Yeah.
And sometimes they play
Does not
their pump spell and they play another pump spell, and now all of a sudden you're facing a 9/9 infector.
Sylvan Library, very good because the life is much less of a drawback against Infect, which usually tries to win via poison counters rather than regular damage. Grafdigger's Cage could potentially shut down Greenstone Zenith, but I think it's a bit too narrow.
Exactly.
Pithing Needle, it's good against Inkmoth Nexus. He might be in the market for this.
Yes.
And then 3 Thought Seizes. I like this a lot because a lot of the equity from an Infect player comes from just having more information to work with than your opponent. And Thought Seize, drawback is not particularly relevant, takes away a lot of their scariest draws, and allows you to bridge into the grindy matchups.
And going off that, I actually kind of like the one Vendilion click.
Certainly.
It gives you a lot of having that information is very key against Infect.
Yeah.
Because you need to know what you have to play around.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to play around Counterspell and Abrupt, which means that you could just Abrupt Decay freely. And sometimes you have to play around Vines of Vastwood.
Yeah, and it's also a blocker. It's a bit slow because it's 3 mana as opposed to 1, but just having a blocker for Inkmoth Nexus is very nice.
So it looks like it looks like Alex here is taking a mulligan. And I believe so is Anthony. So they both go to 6. So who do you think this favors?
I think when both players are mulliganing, it favors Charlotte's Bug, because it operates better off of low resources and is better positioned to eke out advantages in a longer game.
Yes, I agree, because for Alex to kill quickly, he needs essentially 3 cards, right? It's a 3-card combo. He needs an Infect guy, he needs a pump spell, and then he needs a second pump spell, generally, for a quick kill.
But the deck can win as soon as turn 2 with Glistener, Elf, Berserk, Invigorate.
Yeah. Infect is always a very scary deck to play against. They
Certainly.
can win out of nowhere, which is where the hand disruption comes in handy. Having that information helps immensely.
Yeah. So here, Alex is gonna look at his 6. Look at all those sweet beta cards. All right, so he's gonna scry. Looks like he has a Submerge, a Tropical Island, Pendlehaven, and I can't get a good glimpse of the other cards. Alex seems content with the top card's library. Anthony's gonna go reaching for a Mold of 5. See if he can come up with something a little bit better to work with, but he is fortunately up a game in this matchup.
See if Anthony can make any magic happen.
We'll see. And Anthony looks like he kept his 5. He's going to scry to the bottom, and it's going to be on Alex to initiate with Beta, Tropical Island, and a pass.
So we might be seeing like a Greenstone Zenith or a Plighted Agent.
Tar Pit met by Stifle. Let's hope for Anthony's sake he has more lands to work with.
That Wasteland was very powerful,
Uh-huh.
especially when you're battling on low resources.
All right, so Sylvan Library off of Pendlehaven on turn 2. Anthony's going to fight over Force of Will, pitching Charlotte's Agent.
And I think Alex is very happy with that. Anthony's already on a mulligan of 5.
Uh-huh.
And forcing Anthony to pitch another card is it puts Anthony at such a huge disadvantage.
Yeah, but at the same time, I don't think Anthony had much of a choice. I think right now he needs to hope to rip into Belhoof Strixes and Charlotte's Agents. Looks like players are discussing something, but everything seems to be worked out. Counting things up right now. That would put Anthony at 18, so there is no discrepancy in life totals. He's going to fire off a Brainstorm. Looks like he has a Maelstrom Pulse, which is going to be a bit slow. Ooh, and this is a Brainstorm lock.
Silver lining is he found a ancestral visions.
Yeah.
And if Anthony is able to live to the point where that ancestral visions resolves, he'll be able to dig himself back in terms of card advantage.
Yeah, I don't think he's likely to do that though. Certainly, you're going to play this out. You still got 36 minutes left on the clock.
Well, also Alex just doesn't have a threat,
Yeah.
which is if Alex just can't find a threat, then that's a pretty big deal. I think they're wondering if Alex and Anthony put back the cards for Brainstorm, or if
I'm gonna go listen in on they're trying to figure out if Anthony drew an extra card. Anthony moved to 5, Alex moved to 6.
Yeah.
Anthony one's on play. The fetch line is neutral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. I think that's right.
yeah, they should be good.
I think they're fine.
Yeah.
And Alex rips another card for the turn. It's going to be a Tropical Island. Is that a Spell Skite on the right side of his hand?
I believe we're going to see a Viridian Corruptor, yes.
Okay, no value here, but again, might as well get the beats on. Cannot even work with the Pendelhaven. What kind of card is this?
I think Alex is just fine with that. Sees Anthony does not play a land after he brainstormed. I think Alex is in a pretty good place.
Oh, I guess you have to play this before you play the Spell Skite. So, I mean, that sequencing makes more sense right now. I don't believe Viridian Corruptor is a May ability.
I think it is a May.
You would be wrong.
Oh, man.
Get wrecked.
Well,
Or you could submerge in response.
Yeah.
Oh, his opponent didn't even have a forest. Okay. So in for 2 more with the Viridian Corruptor. Anthony is going to go to 4 poison counters, and the follow-up is going to be a Become Immense. Wow, that is exacties.
It is going to be quite big.
The name implies that, Become Immense. Anthony is going to nod his head, and in fact, he was able to draw the Brainstorm Lock.
So when the people in R&D were making that card, do you think that they were like, okay, we're going to have a Delph card that pumps something? They said, okay, this is the test name. And then they played with it, and they were like, let's just call it Become Immense.
You know, we do have some WotC former WotC people that do occasionally commentate, but I cannot speculate. So Anthony's going to be on the play this time. That was a bit of a rough start from him. I wonder if anything changes in terms of boarding. If he didn't have Thoughtseize, I'd certainly like it at this point.
Probably not. I assume that Anthony will already have the Thoughtseizes in his deck. As we saw, Alex was on the play, didn't have anything to really do. And it took him actually a fair bit, a long while to kill Anthony, even though he mulliganed to 6 and whatnot.
Yeah, it was a bit slow for both players.
So I think for Anthony, as long as Alex doesn't have a blazing fast hand, Anthony's in a really good position.
Agreed.
So, as our players shuffle up, it looks like Alex is going back to the sideboard. It'll be interesting to see how Anthony sideboarded. If he did sideboard as we predicted he would. It'll also be interesting to see what Anthony sideboarded out. A card like Ancestral Vision, while very powerful normally, might not be as necessary in this matchup due to the fact that Anthony just needs to survive. So maybe Anthony sided out 1 or 2 of those. Because Anthony here he's just trying to make it past. He's just trying to make it to the long game. He wants to extend the game as long as, it'll go. Because the long game definitely favors him. And there are just very few decks in general that have a better long game than Chartless Bug.
Agreed.
There are decks that can go over Chartless Bug. But in terms of just card advantage, overall card quality for each single card, Chartless Bug has such great, card quality and whatnot.
So it looks like Anthony's content with his hand. Is Alex Will getting to 6?
Yeah, it looks like it.
Have you played Infect in other formats now, right?
Yeah, I've played it in Modern.
Yeah.
Modern is a different beast due
Yeah.
to the fact that the decks are just different.
Yeah.
More lightning bolts, way more spot removal. Whereas something that, like in Legacy, people aren't playing as much spot removal. You see less lightning bolts. People are playing cards like Abrupt Decay more often due to its versatility and due to the fact that you can't force a will.
And the biggest card that I think you miss by playing in Modern as opposed to Legacy is Invigorate. It's, I think, the best card in the Infect deck, other than maybe the Infectors.
Yeah, definitely. You also do miss out on Berserk, which gives you a way to go through blockers.
Yep. Yeah, Berserk turns on a lot of the turn 2 kills. I don't think it's that great, but there are certainly spots where it does things that other cards simply cannot.
So this is an interesting key from Anthony. It does not actually look like he has much disruption. I think I saw a Wasteland, a pair of Tarmogoyfs, maybe a agent, a Shardless agent, maybe 2 Shardless agents. So
I think that's reasonable enough to keep. It's better than a random. It's maybe not a good 7, but I think better than a random.
Well, now Alex can just play Noble Hierarch and just attack through the Tarmogoyf.
Now, if he attacks without a Noble Hierarch or a Pendlehaven, I like blocking and forcing him to use a pump spell. The pump spells are pretty valuable. However, if with a Noble Hierarch on the board, I would just try to take it on the chin and hope you dodge double Berserk or double Invigorate.
Yeah, definitely. Sometimes you just have to say if you have it, you have it.
Yep.
Because, it's very hard to win a game when you're chump blocking with Tarmogoyf on turn 2. On turn 2.
Now, interestingly, Tarmogoyf is currently a 1/2, but almost anything played will grow it. Noble Hierarch is going to send in for 2. Anthony's going to go ahead and declare no blockers, ask if you have anything else, and Alex is going to go up to 2. And it looks like he has an Invigorate, but he's going to save it in his hand.
I also think I saw Vines of Vastwood, which is why he probably declined that Ponder that he has.
Okay. And there's nothing in particular you need to ponder for. Ooh, I like this a lot.
Toxic Deluge.
Probably for 1.
Yeah.
You can name it for 5, but I think you're happy if it eats an Invigorate, and you don't want to kill your Tarmogoyf.
Yeah, there's definitely value to leaving that Tarmogoyf around.
Yep.
Oh, this is
now a 3/4. It's a 2/3 this turn.
This is huge for Anthony.
And the cards, obviously.
He probably kept that hand on the strength of the Tarmogoyf. So it's a 3/4. Well, it's 2/3 this turn. It's going to send in 4/2 and take Alex down to 18. And now it's going to pass the turn. The -1/-1 is going to wear off. Alex, let's see what he can muster on his turn.
So Alex here is probably just is looking for a creature.
Okay. I think I would like pondering before playing the land, just in case you find something like an Inkmoth Nexus. Which did he just find?
Well, he knows that Anthony here has a Wasteland. So you could still activate it and Vines it to protect from Wasteland, but that's it costs so much mana.
I think when there's no worry about playing around double days or a single pierce, I just like pondering first for information.
So what I like for Alex is, I think I'm trying to look for Berserk.
Yeah.
I think
this is a good one.
These are all the hits.
Yeah, and it's an instant, which is currently not in the graveyard. Now, Alex does not have Vines with Kicker up, so it's going to go up for 4/5 with -1/-1 to the turn. It's going to allow him to send it for 3. And then it's going to pass the turn. Now it's going to go for 4-5. Now he's going to pass the turn. It's going to be 4-5. Did he play 2 lands? No, he talks they lose
Yeah.
on 3 mana. Okay. So Alex is in a bit of a hole.
Yeah, passing is
situation.
not what he wanted to do.
Nope.
If I'm Anthony here, I'm just leaving up that wasteland. If Alex crop rotations, I want to be able to kill that Inkmoth Nexus
Yeah.
here.
Do you jam a second agent? I think you do.
Yeah, probably. You want to shorten the clock, even though you're in a commanding position, but you also want to leave up the wasteland. I think the wasteland is a key card.
Now this is pretty interesting. He attacks before playing anything, which I think is generally good. You want to withhold information. Potentially, if he plays the Charlotte's agent, he could cascade into something that might somehow grow the Goyf, but that's very unlikely.
Sure, he could actually draw into Thoughtseize, let's say, and maybe Thoughtseize something.
Yeah.
But
Inkmoth Nexus going to hit the battlefield. I think if you're Anthony, fire this off right away.
yeah, definitely.
Interestingly, often it's right to wasteland after you've taken your turn to draw because there's no real cost in activating it, barring shenanigans like suppression field. But
I like this here because if Anthony does this on his own turn, let's say, then Alex can activate it and vines it, and now he has a 5/5 blocker.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. But and then if Anthony waits until Alex's next turn, then obviously Anthony might attack and just make it a 5/5.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, what was a great position is now a fairly poor one.
Agreed. So there are certainly cases where, like the conventional heuristic, need to recognize when to break them. Looks like Anthony's gonna get aggressive here, sending with a creeping tar pit rather than playing another Charlotte's agent.
This looks like it's lethal if
Yeah,
Alex just takes it.
it would be exacties. So he would need to commit that creature as a blocker. Oh, but Alex has Dried Arbor in his hand, in his deck.
The dreaded Exaxes.
So, I guess he's not going to be able to get it. He's going to need to grow that guy and invigorate. Unfortunately, this takes him off of Alex. If he previously had a Berserk, he might have been able to get there. I don't know if that's something he keeps in his deck after boarding because Berserk is a little bit bad in an attrition-y game.
Yeah. But sometimes, I would be surprised if he took all of them out, though.
Well, if he had Berserks as live draws and a Dried Arbor still in the library, I like just blocking with the Dried Arbor and knock top of your deck.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Because now I don't even know if Alex has anything.
Well, he could brainstorm into Invigorate Berserk, I guess.
Oh, yeah.
Is that double vines?
Oh, no, that's a Viridian Cropper. That's actually very good here. No, it's not because of the Creeping Tar Pit.
Okay, and that is unblockable.
And it looks like Anthony here will take the match.
All right, so 2-1 in favor of Anthony. We still got plenty of time. You want to check with Anthony, see if he wants to join us in the booth for a winner's interview?
Yeah, sure.
Great.
Absolutely.
I'm going to take us back to the booth. Hey guys, I'm Sean Yu, joined here by Charles Wong. He's going to go look for Anthony around for a winner in our feature match. See if he wants to maybe just discuss his thoughts about his deck and that matchup. It's pretty cool. He's 3-1. Does not lock him up for top 8, but it puts him in very good position to have a win and in, potentially 2 win and ins because likely a 4-2 or maybe 2 4-2s will be able to make it. Thanks a lot. So right now, how's the chat doing? Any questions right here? It's like we still got about 22 minutes. Hey, Judge, can you check if there's any other tables that might be going to Game 3 that might want to be on camera? We're going to have a winner's interview and then see if we get another matchup. Thanks. Well, so that was pretty cool. Let's go take us back to the Rouse Linum. How are you doing? Let's go ahead and take a quick look at the metagame breakdown. So as you can see, Charlotte is one of the most popular decks today. We saw all 3 Charlotte players today on camera at some point. Just worked out. Sorry?
We'll keep an eye out, but there's nobody like right this second.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. Storm, we haven't actually seen any Storm players on camera, but it is the most represented deck today in our very diverse field. A couple of Blue-Red Delver players, Imperial Painter, Bug Delver, Nick Fit, Grixis Delver, Miracles. 18 other decks with 1 copy each. I don't have the full list right now, but this will be available as a spreadsheet in terms of a metagame breakdown in a little bit. We'll post that eventually and maybe discuss it a little bit before the top 8 rounds. It looks like our triumphant round 4 champion, Anthony, is about to join us right here. Hey, Anthony. Hey, welcome to Card Kingdom. Congrats on round 4. You want to put on this mic?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, so that was pretty thrilling. I think Infect's a deck I'm always scared to play against because you don't know what they have and they just kill you on turn 2 out of nowhere.
Oh yeah, I'm always afraid of that against that deck. You know, their hand could just be a couple Invigorates and a Berserk, and then you know, there's nothing you can do. So
yeah, but I think you do have a pretty solid matchup against them overall, huh?
Yeah, I think so
Okay.
because you know, just Baleful Strix is actually really good.
It's
not a lot of decks have flying creatures to block the Ink Moth Nexus, so Baleful Strix is good there, and Wasteland also. You know, I'm playing 2 Tar Pit, 2 Wasteland, which is a little worse against Infect.
Yeah.
A lot of Shardless players go to 3 or even 4.
Yeah, I
And
think
so,
what Jay play for.
Yeah, and that makes the Infect matchup really good, but he also doesn't have any Baleful Strix, so he still kind of has like 4 outs, you know, so to speak. And
Now, based on the lists and just based on what I know about the stock lists, I felt like you had an advantage for games 2 and 3, but 1 could slip away from you. You actually got 1, and you had a mulligan to a 5 and got Brainstorm locked after getting wasted.
yeah, I feel like maybe if I didn't get Brainstorm locked, I could have pulled that one out because I had Strix. I had some like card draw and stuff to like maybe get in a position where I could, you know, try and cobble something together, but it's just too backbreaking, you know, to mull that low and then Brainstorm lock yourself. So
Oh, yeah.
that's variance though.
How do you board in this matchup? I noticed you had like a couple Golgari Charms, some Thoughtseizes,
Yeah.
Clicks, and then 2 Disfigures.
Oh yeah, I didn't actually board in the Thought Seizes. I am more, this could be totally wrong, but I'm more of the opinion you need to play to the board. And so, you know, while Thoughtseize can be good, they, you know, it just feels bad when you Thoughtseize them and they Brainstorm, you know, they're 2 good pump spells or whatever, you know, to the top of their library. So I bring in 2 Disfigures, 2 Golgari Charms, and a Pithing Needle for the Ink Moth Nexus.
Great, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. I'm not a very experienced Shardless player, but when I've played this matchup in the past, I actually shaved my my Jace and my Ancestral Visions because I thought they might be a bit slow.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And then hope Liliana could be good.
Yeah,
So,
I like Lily because, you know, the first couple of turns can be kind of attrition-y.
Yeah.
And if you get to the point where you can Lily make them sack their only creature and then she's ticking up, eating away at their pump spells, that's like really good.
Yeah, I think once you get in that position, you're in the driver's seat and you're just
Yeah.
trying to close it out while playing around their potential outs.
Yeah, and I actually cut the 2 Jace, I cut 2 Tarmogoyf, and then I
Okay.
cut 1 Ancestral because Goyf you just don't really need that many. Like they're not, well, in most cases they're not killing 1. You saw him kill 1 in game 3, but you only really need like 1 beater, like of Tarmogoyf size, you know, and
you had a pretty sick combo though. It's called Tarmogoyf plus Toxic Deluge. How'd
yeah,
that work out?
Tarmogoyf Deluge, that worked out pretty well for me. So especially because it was, you know, I had to jam it regardless if he had Daze or Spell Pierce, but you know, if he doesn't, then it's just it's too backbreaking for him. You know, it's 2 for 1 right there, and then I'm sitting there with like a big creature that I can tempo him out with. So.
Yeah, totally makes sense.
Yeah.
Now you're new to the Washington area, huh?
Yeah.
First time at Card Kingdom?
Yeah,
Well,
first time at Card Kingdom.
Certainly hope to see you some more and tell everyone in the chat how awesome this place is. I don't work here,
Oh man,
but I just
Card
love
King, this place is so awesome. There's like the cafe right there, so it's just really cool, and it's a great tournament venue, I guess you could say. Like the room back there is really cool, and yeah, I'm really excited.
It's
really
pretty
fun.
sweet. Well, I hope to see you here some more. Anything you'd like to say to the chat?
Not really. Hope I make it into the top 8, I guess.
Yeah, 3-1. Looks like you. I think one more win would probably lock you up, but
Yeah,
I'm
maybe
not
one.
going to guarantee anything.
Yeah, for
Wish
sure.
you
One
best
more
of
win
luck.
and then maybe draw in. But
Well, hey, thanks for joining us.
yeah, no problem.
Take care.
Yeah.